Dueling computers. All right.
You want to go full screen as well, I was saying.
Oh, okay, I got you. Well, yeah, but that's not good for me.
Yeah, I figured as much.
That's on. That's
So you don't see the common things.
Oh, you gotta turn it on.
I did, but it didn't go. Put it on. There we go.
There you go.
Is there anybody out there? No. All right, hey everybody. Here we are at the January 6th Vigil in Northern Neck, Virginia. It is 10/4/24, October 4th, 2024, and this is day 1367 from January 6th. And as always, we'll start off with a very brief prayer, Pledge of Allegiance, and a little bit of background from the week, and we'll look forward to some callers, hopefully around 7:30 p.m. All right. Heavenly Father, I'm going to keep it straight into the courage and the fortitude and the salvation that they need, those that are in danger, still suffering without food and water and basic necessities, and give solace and courage to those who've lost loved ones in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. And please, please allow all of the responders to get safely in and out to help these victims. In Jesus' name, amen.
States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, so we've got a little bit of fun maybe now. We recently acquired a large screen television. We'll figure out how to get maybe some of the pictures more into and onto the live stream, but it does give us the opportunity to kind of point to some things along the way. And one of them that I've been highlighting for a while is the First Amendment Film Festival. That occurred, I think it was September, second week in September, something like that. And I was fortunate enough to be able to attend that in person. And but the great news about this, there was over 12 hours of film that was put on, and you can access all of it for the mere fee of .com, and you can get all of this, including interviews with the filmmakers and others. Was an award ceremony and all that. So it's really, really great information. Again, these are films and helping people to open up their eyes and see what's going on. Most people that are tuned in here are already aware of a lot of the things that are going on in this country and in the world, but I think film is one of the best ways to really relay a message, and these are some great films. So everything from Plandemic 3, which talked about everything to do with the pandemic and government overreach and so on. Let My People Go was a wonderful one that had, again, a lot of those same themes in it, but it was actually more comprehensive. It's about 2 hours and 15 minutes. And that was Professor David Clements, who I've met. He was basically forced out of his university for trying to teach his students. He's a law professor, to try to teach his students to use the examples of the pandemic shutdowns and what that was doing to people's basic rights. And faculty did not want to do that. So anyway, he's a great one. Several other ones had to do with January 6th, of course, the J6 True Timeline and others. I mean, go look it up, 1afilmfest.com. You'll be amazed at the variety of information and different films and things that are there. So again, want to give a shout out to Dave Summerall and and everyone else who was involved in putting that together. So.
That's a lock the door.
Huh?
It's-
Hi, Cheryl. I creeped in anyway.
Hey, hey.
Hi.
So Maurice, I just did something that should impact you in some way.
Yeah.
All right. Well, a couple of things I want to jump into. As usual, we look at the NPR database, which is updated every Friday. I don't know if that's showing up on the screen very well, but it's taken a minute, I guess, to catch up. So, yep, here it comes. Should be soon. Anyway, this NPR, National Public Radio database is updated every Friday evening. And they basically surf the federal websites, the DOJ, et cetera, and are capturing all the information around the January 6 cases. Have been doing so since very early on in 2021. And so it's a quick snapshot for me to look every week, every Friday before the vigil and see what's happened last week. Turns out there were 13 additional arrests last week. The total number of arrests now is at 1,510 according to this database. I've heard other numbers, but we were definitely over the 1,500 mark. And of course, you get the whole narrative behind how awful, January 6th was and all that, and just take it for what it is. But again, the facts that are interesting are the numbers around the people. Here's some factoids: number of people who pled guilty, so on and so on. But you can go in here and you can just sort, and you can just walk down through these. People are listed by alphabetical order, and at the very beginning are the latest and newest. So I'm gonna go ahead and read these out. Eshron Arababi, 43 years old, from Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. He was arrested on October 2nd, 2024, 2 days ago, in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Typical charges of civil disorder, entering and remaining, disruptive conduct on a restricted building or grounds, etc. Jimmy Dale Baum, from Roanoke Rapids, North Carolina. Jimmy Baum was arrested on October 1st in Raleigh. Perry James Beebe, 26 years old, from Charlotte. He was charged by information on October 2nd, 2024. His charges were disorderly conduct in a Capitol building, parading, demonstrating, or picketing in a Capitol building. Andrew Maurice Bonneau. Andy Bonneau was arrested October 3rd in Maine. James Rowe Cleary, 56 years old, from Waterford, Connecticut. He was arrested on October 3rd, yesterday. Adriana DeCiccio was arrested on September 27th in Buffalo, New York. Christopher Jordan, from St. George, Utah, was arrested on October 2nd in St. George, Utah. Earl Jordan, from Dickens, Iowa. He was arrested October 2nd in Spencer, Iowa. This is an interesting name. Predrag, P-R-E-D-R-A-G, Jovanovic, was arrested on October 3rd in Piles Grove, New Jersey. Christopher Sean Madison was arrested on September 30th in Lakeland, Florida. Jason Parsons was charged by information on April 5th, 2023. We were looking up what exactly is the difference between being charged by information versus having an indictment. So we need to do a little more research on that. If anybody in the chat knows, reach out. He had his charge that's very significant, I believe, is unlawful possession of a firearm on a Capitol buildings or grounds. There were very few people that had firearms there that day, like maybe less than a handful. He pled guilty to the single charge. So the case was unsealed on October 3rd. I don't know what that means, if he's still free or if he's out. Emily Sarah Mayoski was charged by information on October 2nd. Her charges were disorderly conduct in a Capitol building, parading, demonstrating, or picketing in a Capitol building. And then finally, Morton Irvine Smith was charged by information on October 2nd. And his charges were entering and remaining disorderly and disruptive conduct and disorderly conduct in a Capitol building. So 13 new from the week. And I guess we're not slowing down as we get closer to the election, are we?
It's gonna speed up.
Anything you want to do?
Just my normal updates. If I can remember. Yesterday, Michael Oliveras had his sentencing, and the judge had given him more than what was required as far as the guidelines was 37 months to 42 months, and he received 60 months. 60, that's 60. And that's because the judge did not like what he said at the end, and said something that the insurrection came from within, not from the outside.
Oh, we told the truth, you mean?
He told the truth.
Yeah, there you go.
So they gave him an extra
30 months?
Yeah, a lot.
20.
60 months instead of 37 to 42. Also, let's see. Joseph Hutchison's having his sentencing on October 15th at 9. Robert Turner, October 18th at 1. Greg Purdy, October 18th at 1. That's uncle and nephew. Christopher Quaglin asked that I give out his Give, Send, Go. He's, of course, needs money. It's Christopher Quaglin, Persecuted Patriots, if you have any money to send him on Give, Send, Go. And Mitchell Gardner, he's also in need of some money. He's been hopefully get out before, well, he's hoping to get out to his halfway house. And his Give, Send, Go is Mitchell Gardner, Getting Back on My Feet Again. So if you could afford anything, just send a couple bucks, they'd appreciate it. And early voting has started in Virginia, so get out and vote.
So, Joseph is going pro se, right?
Yes.
Sorry, I was trying to do things.
So trying to do two things there. Joseph told us last vigil that he is representing himself pro se. You might have known that, sure, I didn't, but I have not been to a trial or a sentence by anyone who's represented themselves pro se. So I am definitely going to do my best to try to get to this one.
And he's also hoping to get the date changed. He's also hoping to get the date changed, but we don't know that yet. Giving him a little more time.
Tom's over there trying to get his phone to do something.
I'm good.
It's a vigil, I can't stand the silence. And there's lots of things going on out there in the world. For example, what did FEMA spend this year's budget on?
Themselves?
They didn't spend it on Maui. They're not spending it in North Carolina. What natural disaster
Their pocketbook
did,
needed to get dug deeper.
yes. It's kind
gone.
of
They
crazy.
don't have the money, that's why they're not there.
So
So I say.
I'm curious minds want to know why are they absent money, and why do they think $750 is going to cover more than a meal or two at a restaurant because the grocery stores are empty for a family? Seriously, you know, the grocery stores are empty. FEMA's confiscating goods and storing them in their own distribution center and saying that they will determine who gets them and when.
Well, you know what I've heard is that Trump and Elon Musk have coordinated and are actually sending in supplies and using his satellites now so they can communicate. Because have you heard about this?
Yes, I have heard about this. So Elon Musk said yesterday that, or maybe it was late the day before, that 30 days worth of Starlink free, and oh, by the way, here's some dishes. And that's awesome. Trump set up a Give, Send, Go channel. It's already worth a couple few $1 million that's going on. So I don't care what anybody says. You know, on the one hand, we've got this guy that claims to be president in the White House, and then there's this guy out there in the world that's trying to run to be president, to become in the White House. But in the meantime, he's doing more leading in this country than our entire government. And he's just a private citizen like you and me, although he's well resourced. But
Biden
If
doesn't even know
he
which one
wasn't,
we're
they'd
talking
buried
about.
him already.
but he's doing more than just about anybody for the American people. Of course, you know, there's some folks that refuse to see that stuff. Refuse to
It's
see
not-
it.
No, they just want to play victim, because victim means freebies at the expense of
Exactly,
the middle
because
class.
you cannot run for president if you're running against Santa Claus.
That's right.
And it just doesn't work because, you know, all bets are off. If Santa Claus is running, he's gonna give stuff away, so we better vote for him. Yeah, you gotta be careful what you look for. But it's kind of aggravating that FEMA stands up there, so they can't run out of money unless they planned to run out of money. I'm not saying that they planned the storm or that they caused the storm. I'm saying they planned to not have money, or at least to be able to say that they don't have money.
One of the residents from that area, who I talked to on Facebook, told me that FEMA told them they can't bring supplies in. No one else is to do any aid. They don't want anyone else to come in. They want everyone to stay out. And FEMA will come and bring them supplies and aid when the roads are clear.
That could be months.
That's what they're saying. They're like, when the roads are clear. So now they're rallying. The locals are
Yeah,
rallying.
there's
together
words that I
and
can't
help.
say right now, you know? That stuff is ridiculous.
You need helicopters to send.
So, but there's other things happening under the hood, so calmer minds prevail. So FEMA doing that is bad because they're a bureaucracy and bureaucracies can't react to anything appropriately. On the other hand, their failure to react is also keeping bad people out. You know, people that would go through and steal everything that might be left from everybody that's
A lot of looting taking place.
Lots and lots of looting, and if you can't get in, that's kind of the upside of the evil that is FEMA. They're keeping those people out.
Well, those residents told me there was a lot of looting going on now.
Oh, I'm
People are
sure.
getting desperate. They said she said they're not evil people, but they are desperate. They have no food, they have no water,
Right.
and they're breaking into homes right now.
So they're already
empty.
in the area.
Yeah.
But then there's the ones that would come from out of area. You know, the
To
ones
take
like
advantage.
the bus,
You mean Antifa and BLM?
the full buses that
And-
Kamala has come to her
Yeah.
rallies. Now
Yeah.
they've been redirected to North Carolina
They
to
should
go
send them
rape,
up
pillage,
there.
and plunder.
They won't walk out.
Yeah, they won't walk out.
Nope.
Yeah, I know that because, you know,
They won't
North
tolerate
Carolina,
it. They won't. They don't put up with that.
no, they're not gonna put up with that at all. But I think it's just kind of disgusting that we can talk about the bad things that our government is doing or not doing, or the incompetence or the deliberate incompetence. All that stuff is going on. But there's people that see it as being okay. Yes, they're posting stuff on social media.
Are
This
you
is
kidding
some-
me?
No,
Oh,
I'm not
because
kidding.
because
Because
what, the
they're
conservative area?
Kamala supporters.
Oh, so this is
So-
mostly conservative area, and this is probably
Right.
why. Yeah.
So, you know, you can saturate yourself with it, but to me, my favorite post of the day was the announcement that Pete Buttigieg has AIDS.
What?
Yes,
I
Pete
haven't heard of
Buttigieg
this.
has AIDS. He announced it.
Oh.
And so it was kind of interesting. There was a lot of verbal memes that just flooded through my mind. Everybody can just kind of imagine what that is, but yeah, It's kind of interesting, the stuff that's going on right now. And you just kind of wonder where it's going to stop. You know, sometimes I just have to step away from it. I want to go help my wife out in the garden if my back will let me, but it gets kind of crazy looking at this stuff, and you got to be very careful how many seconds you actually spend on something, because it's usually engineered to make your blood boil. And so you got to stay off of that a little bit. Anyhow, 27 years.
All right.
This is something, I don't remember if I talked about it last vigil or not, but I ran across a group called the Prison and Jail Innovation Lab, and they're hosting a screening of the 2023 short film, The Box, 27 Years in Solitary, which explores the use of solitary confinement in prison. It focuses on the case of Dennis Hope, a man who spent 27 years in solitary confinement in a Texas prison and who took a lawsuit about his situation all the way to the Supreme Court, the U.S. Supreme Court. After the screening, there will be a panel discussion with several more film producers and others. But anyway, check it out. All you got to do is just put in your search engine, The Box, 27 years in solitary. 2 years, 27 years in solitary. So there's no trailer or anything here, but it's pretty interesting. You can see this guy on the screen up there, sitting on his bunk, writing, and it just evokes this image of, I can't imagine 27 minutes, let alone 27 years in confinement. So I don't know, I just think this is very interesting, very topical to what we're doing. The other thing is this organization, the Prison and Jail Innovation Lab, has been advocates for prison reforms for years and years, and I think it's a great area for us to connect. We've talked about that quite a bit, about what we've learned, you know, as us here sitting on this side of the camera, and what you all have learned out there, everybody else who are advocates like us, family members, and political hostages yourselves, those of you that are getting out and are able to listen to these vigils. So we've collectively learned a whole lot, and we need to do something about it. So, all right. Want another one?
Yeah, I can do some.
I got another one when you're ready.
Go for it.
I got a couple more. This one is Justice Denied, and I'm just going to try to play a little bit of this. I think Justice Denied is a story about Howell Woltz, who was arrested in 2006 and spent 87 months in jail. And he's got a little 15-minute trailer on here, or it's actually a short movie that describes the book. The book is a page turner. I read it in a weekend. Everybody else I've given it to has done the same thing. But we'll just listen to this for just a second. But again, Justice Denied. Just look it up. You can find the book on Amazon. You can go to justicedenied.com, which is what this is. And there's a lot of information there about it. So pretty amazing story. And I'm actually in contact with him via email. So he's working on some stuff.
That would be nice if we could get that up there.
question. I said, I have no idea. I don't know what this is about. My life as I knew it ended that day. Most important thing in my life, my schedule was I got up very, very early before daylight, and I would go in the office and get my work done so I could be there in the afternoons for John. And I would go spearfishing, or as Rob was, I had to watch SpongeBob SquarePants with him, and then he would do what I wanted to do. So we'd ride bikes or whatever, but John was the focus of my life, and I thoroughly enjoyed those days. But again, they came to a crashing halt. Our business back in those days was in the financial services industry. We were operating in several nations, and most of our clients were international. We did have a few American clients, a couple of them being North Carolina politicians and a judge, U.S. attorney, North Carolina Republican chairman Samuel T. Curran, and his clients, and they had opened some accounts with our trust firm, and we could not get them to give us the source of funds information. So I guess that was the genesis of all this. I filed a suspicious activity report with the Central Bank of the Bahamas, and said we can't get source of funds. We've advised these people to move their business elsewhere. 2 years later, was asked to come to the United States to meet with the U.S. Attorney's Office of Western North Carolina to discuss a case where they were investigating Mr. Curran and his clients. Agreed to do so, sent them all the information we had. I had no expectations of anything other than going to Charlotte, answering a few questions, helping them. Instead, I'm kidnapped at the end of the road. I left this house where we're sitting now and went out the gate. I noticed there was a small SUV, and I didn't know who was there, so I'm driving through them, noticed that they pulled in behind me, and then I get out at the end of the road, and there's a group of cars, and turned out that was our federal waiting on me. I read the window and received a badge D. Curran. I said, Mr. Curran, I'm supposed to meet you in Charlotte at 10 a.m. So we decided to do this a little differently, so they arrested me. The agent said, well, don't you want us to return this car down to your house? What's the code for the gate? And after seeing how they were handling things, I said, well, I don't want to give you any code to the gate. You can leave it at the gate. He said, well, you better call your wife and tell her to meet us there, and then she can take it in. So my wife's asleep upstairs, and I called, took my own phone and punched in our home number and held it to my ear, and I said, the FBI is at the end of the road. They've arrested me. I don't know what this is about. And I said, but meet them at the gate and they'll give you the keys to the rental car. And so she did. I'm sitting there with my hands behind my back, not having any idea what's going on. And then I see them come up and they just drag my wife out of a car and then throw her in the back of another one with handcuffs and her night clothes.
Wow.
That scene will never leave my mind. The fact that my government would do that to anyone was horrific. I could not believe it. And so I asked the guy, well, what about the kids? They're there at the house asleep. And, well, that's not my problem. I've got to get you to an arraignment. These things aren't supposed to happen in America. That's when I asked him, I said, do you have children, Agent Curran? And he posed over a minute, and then he said, yes. And I said, well, how would you feel right now if the government kidnapped you and your wife and was willing to leave two little boys, 11 and 12, asleep in the house, not knowing what had been done to their parents? He looked long and hard and thought, and then he said, all right, well, who can I call? I said, well, I guess the chief of police, and he'll come take care of them.
I thought I'm dreaming. This is not true. This guy, wildlife commissioner, My best friend knew him as well as his brother. This is wrong. That from the beginning. And the kids were just ringing in my head. He was telling me that he left them at home in bed. And I, what do you want me to do? What can I do? And he said, well, if you come over here and get the kids, we should get this thing resolved after a while because we
Hello, this is a prepaid call from at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this call, press 0. Your current balance is $73.20. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Hi, this is Cheryl from Northern Neck. Who do we have?
Hey, sure. This is Josh Atwood.
Hey, Josh.
In the DC jail.
Yeah, you're still there, huh?
Yeah, unfortunately. It feels like a small lifetime, but it too shall pass.
Are you still separated from the rest of the guys?
Yeah, I am. It's interesting because I think Saturday, I think it was this last Saturday, I was able to attend Family Day, and I was mixed with the incident, with the guy that I had gotten into the incident with, the entire unit. We all got pictures taken and like ate food together and really had a wonderful time. It was an amazing experience, honestly. Kind of messed me up mentally, spending that time with the babies and holding Novalin all that time for 3 hours. And then seeing them go, it kind of messed me up throughout the week. I'm like, it's almost been a whole week, and I'm just now recovering mentally from it. I've been wanting to call in and tell everybody I really appreciate them and whatnot from DC, but I just felt like I'd start like breaking down, crying and stuff. Get all emotional. I'm like, you know what? I think I'm ready now to where I can start calling and telling everybody thank you and how much I appreciate it. But the early calls was kind of taken up already, so I figured I'd start with you guys.
Oh,
We
that's
appreciate
great.
it.
So I've been trying. I've been talking to the different, they call them white shirts. I don't know if they're captains or lieutenants or what, but I've been trying to talk to them. And they found it very interesting that I was able to go to Family Day, and they keep telling me I shouldn't be in this unit anymore and all that different stuff. So hopefully I'll keep talking to them, and maybe something will happen. Just keep praying for the best. And everything's going really good. I'm not sure. Did you hear about the shower that Tina in Pennsylvania had swimming?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we knew that they were working on that for sure. But
yeah, it was Brittany and the kids. They really had a really nice time, and it was everything I heard about it sounded really nice. And Brittany, whenever I talk to her, she's just like, I can't believe how much stuff they had given us, and we don't need anything now for Novalin. She's set for like the longest amount of time, and she had like they had gotten her so much stuff that her minivan was completely full of stuff. Amelia, her legs don't really hang down that far out of the car seat, but she had her legs propped up, and so did Hazen, and it was just a miracle. It was amazing.
So she's set into college, I guess, huh?
Yeah, and then I guess she said that she got so much butt cream that she's never seen that much butt cream at one place, not even at a grocery store.
Well,
it was pretty cool.
that's funny, Josh. I'm friends with Tina and a member of her Patriot organization up there, and I got to tell you, they're very organized. They're putting together collections. They've got a tractor trailer they're loading up now to head down to North Carolina. It's halfway full, and I think tonight and tomorrow they're planning to gather the rest of the donations. But I saw their list for your baby, or for your kids. Really, it was for, they definitely very organized. They laid out, you know, different ages and clothes size and all that, and yeah, they knew what they were looking for.
Yeah, Tina is absolutely an amazing person. She seems like a really hard worker. She's busy, it seems like 24/7, and I text her all the time. I really enjoy talking to her, and she's really encouraging, and I love learning about different aspects about our faith, because she's just literally full of knowledge, and it's like, you'd be surprised, like, whatever you're going through, whatever's happening, she has a verse to talk to you about, a place that you can reference the Bible, and whatever scripture she tells you, it's like, it's point on. And she had mentioned that, I'm going to be texting her back this evening, but she was mentioning what you had just said, that she's been trying to get things together to help the people that's been going on with Helena. And it's just like, wow, man, like, she is just constantly helping her community, giving back, and, you know, the world needs more people like Tina. They really do. She's an awesome person, and I really, really look forward to getting out, meeting her, the congregation, meeting you guys, and just, everybody's spread out so far apart, and like normally whenever people live close to me, I'm always helping them fix stuff and take care of all their equipment and all this different stuff at their houses, and I just like, I almost want to like move in like to everybody's community, so that way whenever everybody needs me, they have me right there, you know, a phone call away. And it's, I don't know how I'm going to make everything work, but I got to figure out a way. I want to be involved in everybody's life who's been here for me, supported my family.
Well, I tell you, one way you can do it is take that example of Tina and her group. They're called the Lycoming County Patriots, and they're in the center of Pennsylvania, very close to Williamsport, the World Series, you know, Hall of Fame, all of that. And Tina, if she hasn't shared it with you, she is one of these people who's never been involved with politics, but things got so bad in their school boards that she and several others ran for school board and won, and they flipped, Should can tell you how many, but they flipped like 6 or 7 school boards in their area just this past year because people got involved and went out and said, okay, we've had enough.
Really?
Yeah. So you ask
her. That's amazing.
Yeah. Ask her about that. She'll tell you.
Yeah, she didn't talk to me about that stuff.
Nah, it's always about you guys, you know. But that's why I'm sharing it with you, because you'd be amazed to know just the different kinds of people that come together to support you all. And I'm telling you, follow that example and that lead, and you can't go wrong.
That is like, I don't know if the word is like flabbergasted, speechless, or what, but that is like, that's really cool that she's done stuff like that.
Yeah.
And been a part of her community and been able to make an impact and a difference, you know, for the things that she believes is going on that's, you know, messing up our youth and everything with all of our schooling and all of it. It's just so cool that she's like, has basically devoted her life to her community.
Well, and that's why I'm very confident about where we're at, and you know, there's so many Americans that I think have stepped forward and are stepping up, and they know that we have to take our country back, because if we don't, we're not going to recognize it in 6 months at all.
Mm-hmm. It's fact.
No, we've been asleep in essence too long, and now it's time to wake up, get involved, be a part. And I know this is like a Kennedy thing and whatnot, but you know, don't ask what your country can do for you, but what you can do for your country.
Absolutely, that's right.
That's such a true statement, and what we all need to be thinking about.
Right.
That's why, like, sometimes I get here and like I start dealing with these kids that all they want to do is steal and rob and do drugs. You know, I'm not in the J6 pod, so I'm in a different pod. It's like, man, there's so much more. You can have so much sense of accomplishment, self-worth, and you know, all this just by helping and working together and trying to do good. And it's like, I'm still stunned by how involved Tina is and how much, like, that takes a lot of time. That takes a lot of blood, sweat, tears, and effort. And it's just like, wow, she's just such a beautiful person. I'm amazed. And like everything that between Tina down here in DC with Eagles Nest, with Nicole and Nikki, and everyone's there, you know, taking my family in and giving them a place to stay so that way they can come and visit me. And you know, it's just I've never experienced anything like this, any of this love, compassion, empathy from strangers that I've never met. It's just I'm amazed, I'm impressed, I'm proud to you know, be an American in essence, because that's the core values of Americans. Whenever someone's down and out and hurting and things are going bad, you can count on your neighbors, your friends, the people you don't know to try to help you. And it's just, you know, this world seems so dark and people aren't like as friendly as they used to be. And you know what? That may be the case in some, but there's still a lot of good people. And it's just, this has been such an enlightening experience and really has brought me out of this way of thinking that it's just a dark, cold world and nobody cares. There's a lot of people out there that care and want to do good and make a difference.
It's true.
Selflessly.
Yes, sir.
And you're gonna have a lot of stories to tell your kids when they get old enough to hear them.
Oh man, yeah, it's gonna be older here sooner than I can realize. It's like a Novoland, man. She's like doubled in size. I held her for 3 hours. It felt like a 15-minute phone call.
Aww.
It went so fast. And when I got back to the unit, I was like, why is my arm so sore? And I was like, I held that little beautiful baby in my arms for 3 hours. I was like, gosh, it didn't feel like 3 hours. And then Brittany told me, she's like, you know, you might not realize this, but you held her the entire time. Like, I did not put her down. I got it. Like, and she just was like, fell asleep in my arms. She kept snoring, and like her whole little body was shaking from her snoring, like little vibrations. And she kept farting in my hand. She's just like she'd wake up and do like a little fuss, and it'd be like quiet, and like she's just like not like a real loud, you know, disruptive baby. She's just really soft, sweet. Because my son, he was like the complete opposite. He was like really loud, screaming, and like you knew he was around. But with Oakland, like 3 hours went by, and she just was like perfect. I was just so impressed. And then like Amelia, she drew me this, or colored this picture of Mickey Mouse or Minnie Mouse, and I was like so shocked, like how well she had colored it. And then she wrote her name. She's only 5. She just started kindergarten this year, and she wrote her name, Amelia, on the top of it. I was just so impressed. And then Jason, I can't. When I left, he wasn't saying much. This lady brought over these like funnel cake fries or whatever, with powdered sugar on them, and he goes, "Thank you." And I was just like, so like caught off guard, because when I left, he wasn't like talking much or doing anything like that. And here, a stranger's bringing over food, and he's saying thank you. And it's like just wow, I can't believe it, you know.
How old is he now?
He just turned 2 in March.
Oh, wow.
And March was a while ago now, but it seems just like yesterday. But yeah, so crazy. It was so hard to watch them come and then go.
Oh, imagine. Wow.
And then I like, you know, seeing Amelia's pictures of her going to school, and I really wanted to be there. And like with me having my own business, I'm able to I would have been able to drive her to school all the time, even though she loves driving the school bus, you know. And then being there to help Brittany with all the kids and everybody, you know. And it's just all the animals. We got like chickens, a bunch of tarantulas. I know that might sound crazy, but it's just sucks. But it's all for a reason. I've learned a lot.
And Amelia's 5 now?
Yep, Amelia just turned 5. Well, I keep saying just turned 5, but now here it is, October. She's a Valentine's baby, so February 14th. Yeah, so she turned 5 at the beginning of this year. Now, already coming up to the end of the year. Feels like a small lifetime, but it's going fast all at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It'll be over before you know it. I know that probably sounds bizarre, but
You have 1 minute remaining.
this will come to an end for sure, Josh. Don't ever forget that.
That's right.
Yeah, I won't. I'm not ever gonna forget you guys, and I look forward to being able to meet with you guys, spend time with you guys. And it's all gonna be happening, like you said.
We just want you home with your family. That's what we want.
Yeah, yeah. It'll happen soon. You'll be home for their birthdays next year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I pray for it every night, and I believe my prayers are gonna be answered.
Yes. Yes.
I love you guys, and I hope you have a good evening and enjoy your conversations with everyone.
Okay, thank you for calling. We appreciate it. We always look forward to it.
Thank you.
Thanks
You're in
for
our
having
hearts.
me.
Thanks, Josh. God bless you.
God bless you. Take care, Tom. See you, Cheryl.
Okay, bye now.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for using Global Tellink.
So I don't know if anybody remembers, but the first time you got to see Novalent, and when was that, Cheryl? That was just a few months ago, but
Yeah, she was born on June 4th, and I guess he saw her on 4th of July, I think.
might have been that 4th of July timeframe, but he said that she started crying pretty loudly when he first started to hold her, but he just hung on to her, and then she settled right in. So it's kind of cool to hear that this is only the second time though, but no wonder he didn't put her down.
Yeah. Even though you get cramps in the arms and everything.
Okay, so before anybody else calls, we were just playing a clip from the movie that was put together to honor Howell Woltz's book, Justice Denied. I still got it up on the screen. You can just go to justicedenied.com. You can, as I said, buy the book on Amazon. I think you might be able to get it there, but there's some great information. And this little 15-minute summary of what he went through there is there. So we watched them as the FBI came to the end of the driveway and took him. Now, he was on his way to Charlotte to meet the FBI at that particular moment. And that's when he says, the agent says, oh, we decided to do things a little different. What was the little different? We want to intimidate the heck out of you, and we want to take you in, and we want to take your wife in.
At gunpoint.
Yeah, I mean, handcuffed from wherever they were to Charlotte was not a short drive, but I think it was a couple-hour drive. But it goes on from there. I'll jump to the chase. He was innocent, but still he wasn't found innocent. In fact, the way that his case was handled was very corrupt, and that's what this book is about. So, corrupt prosecutor, his own attorney was in bed with the prosecutors, the judge was corrupt and is corrupt, and the whole system was turned against him, and he got to learn from the inside out what it's like to be in prison, and he met so many people there that many of them had no idea why they were even there. Many of them had cases which were just completely nuts, and they were overcharged. He helped a lot of people. He became a prison lawyer. He learned the law in prison, and he helped reduce thousands of years of sentences, thousands of years from all the people that he helped.
I find it more than interesting that at this point in history, here we are talking about turning the system inside out. Could you ever think you were going to be here doing that? You know, you go in and you have a brain, and we've actually been watching it with the J6ers. There's some pretty sharp guys in there that have gone pro se and even shared their knowledge with others to do exactly that. It's just kind of interesting. We went so many years trusting the system, and now that's all gone. And the system did that. We didn't. The system did that. It's just amazing to me how things have gone so sharply to the left, too hard, too fast. whiplash sucks.
It does, doesn't it?
There's been a lot of stuff going on. I can't hardly keep up with it all, you know? I don't even really know what to say about it all, other than, you know, there's things going on out there. I was just looking at some of these things here, and apparently, you know, just a few days ago, we were looking at the supply chain for the entire country getting shut down with a longshoreman strike, right? Well, that's off. As of today, that's suspended until January 15th, when they feel like they can get a good contract.
Well,
But-
I think part of that was, yeah, that will allow them time to negotiate it and takes the pressure off of us. I mean, really the country, right?
Yeah. But the interesting part is I saw this post, and you know, it's a nighttime video shot from up in one of the towers in one of the docks. And the guy's pointing out, says, "This is what we're fighting against. You see this? There's nobody here. We're losing all of our jobs because of automation." And I'm like, that's a reason to strike? You're being replaced by automation, and you figure if you quit, you're going to be able to negotiate a better pay? I don't know if this dude was legit or anything, but it was clearly a port operation. And the guy's verbally saying in this video that, you know, this is what we're fighting against. There's no people here. Nobody's working. It's all being done by machine. And this is why we're going on strike. And I'm like, really? Henry Ford put a bunch of people out of work too. It's been going on for a long time. And you think you can be immune to it. Anyways, just seems kind of odd to me. Maybe I shouldn't be saying that it seems odd to me. Maybe there's people out there that think they need a pay raise.
Well, apparently this was a contract that was up, an 8-year contract. So potentially, I don't know what their rates are, but if you think about what's happened over the past 4 anyway, prices have certainly increased. So, you know, they're going to have to negotiate a new contract anyway. The threat of striking and doing it for what? 24, 48 hours, what did they do it for? It was 12:01 Tuesday morning, right? So, okay.
It's a couple of days.
Yeah. So I guess it proved that they're willing to do it. Maybe they should go to Congress and help those people in there when they talk about shutting down the government instead of passing a CR resolution every time. Don't seem to ever have the nerve to shut down the government. Maybe the union can help them figure out how to do that.
That would be nice, if the union could show them how to do that. But you know, having been a government employee for all those many years that I was a government employee, it seems like a CR is actually how the government is run. We never actually pass a full and complete and detailed budget. It's always CRs until next year's budget is due, and then we do CRs, which is just crazy. But one of the exercises that we went through, at least in the organization I worked in, was what actually gets cut off. And when you look at it, you start to realize that the American people would probably never realize that their government was shut down if they actually shut it down, because the DOD would still function, the military would still function. That's always paid for. And there's a number of other areas that would still function. For example, the flight controllers that the FAA has, thanks to Ronald Reagan, those guys can't strike no more, and they have to work, and they're paid for. But the things that wouldn't be getting paid for while the government was shut down, most people wouldn't even realize that the government was shut down. So I think it's a bunch of crap based on that. You know, and everybody I worked with, we would talk about it every year. And I think it's a bunch of crap that our Congress, left or right, doesn't have the stomach for letting the government shut down. And that's annoying, because that just reveals all of their cards, and it shows that they really don't have the backbone to do what they say they plan to do. If you elect me, I will fight for you. Well, if all you got to do is not pass the CR to fight, That seems kind of easy to me. It might piss off a lot of people downstream, but when you're the guys, the 400 some odd people that are voting to thumbs up or thumbs down on a CR, I think it's easier to point your thumb down on it than it is to point it up. This is just stupid. Shut down the government, stop this crap, and let's let it play out and see what happens.
Well, this last one, we had some hope because the SAVE Act was attached to it into the final negotiations, but then in order to then they caved and they stripped it out. And so it was a clean CR, no attachments whatsoever in the SAVE Act, which was to make our elections, wasn't it, so that foreigners couldn't vote? It's already illegal, but this was to codify it, right?
And 12 Republicans joined the Democrats in killing that SAVE Act thing from that CR. That's, this should tell everybody everything. I mean, how can they even, these people aren't going to be able to walk down the street.
You know that.
Hey, let me get these couple of things. So we talked about The Box, 27 Years in Solitary. It's a film screening that's going to occur on Monday, October 7th. So all you got to do is go to, just in your search engine, put in The Box : 27 Years in Solitary, and it comes up, and you reserve a spot through ThinkSpot or something like that. It's free. So all you got to do is just go in there and register. And that is going to be on Monday, October 7th at 5:15 Central Time, 5:15 to 6:45 Central Time. So again, I'm looking forward to seeing that one coming up. We talked about justicedenied.com, and that is Howell Woltz, who was 87 months in prison wrongfully in North Carolina. And follow him. He's working now that he's out. He's actually not even living in this country. He had so much harassment, and every time they tried to bring appeals, he would get these, I'm just going to leave it at that. He was convinced that it wasn't safe for him to stay in this country.
Right.
But he's fighting for us, and he is, and others are putting forward an idea to solve this lawlessness. Let me just read this a little bit to you. So it's called District Courts of the People, Restoring Judicial Balance. The statement of issue is that the U.S. system of justice is void of practical means for timely or affordable remedy in cases of judicial, investigative, or prosecutorial misconduct involving the violations of citizens' rights. And he basically says the causes of this is that judicial, investigative, and prosecutorial violations of 18 U.S.C. 241 and 242 suffer no penalty absent a countervailing and independent authority to mitigate and punish violation of citizens' rights by government employees and agents acting under color of law. There's a lot in there, but look, if you know what color of law is, these people feel like they are above the law, and they're basically telling people, I can tell you what to do because nobody else is going to stop me. So his proposal, or the proposal he's advocating, is establishing an Article III District Courts of the People in each congressional district where a chief magistrate is elected with authority to solve all those things, and the methodology is by utilizing grand juries. Fascinating document he shared with me. If anybody's interested in it, reach out to me. My email address is nnp-help@outlook.com. I'd be glad to send it off to you. But look up the book, watch the short 15-minute film, justicedenied.com.
One more.
And we go now to new developments in the plot to kidnap and kill Governor Gretchen Whitmer.
13 suspects arrested, including 7 alleged members of a right-wing militia group.
Who are preparing to kidnap and possibly kill me.
The defense claims the FBI, through undercover agents and informants, were behind the plan, and that Fox and Croft were duped into going along with it.
What the FBI did is unconscionable.
It's almost like they had their evidence, had their facts, and created the crime.
let's get a plan together to attack our governors all at the same time.
We can cloud the water. We can send everybody into disarray and chaos.
He's the perfect chameleon. He knew exactly what to say, how to say it.
Dave Chappell was the driving force of it all.
He was there to lead. He was there to orchestrate.
I think he viewed us as an opportunity.
Everything here is a lie or a manipulation.
It's almost impossible to fathom how brazen, how bold, and how dangerous these individuals were.
Thank you to the fearless FBI agents.
Inside the takedown of the FBI agent who led one of the nation's biggest domestic terror investigations.
You can think of synonym patriots, think of terrorists.
You're seeing the exact same methodology being used without difference.
Everything about this case was a terrorism attack, I agree, by the FBI.
Unlimited power, unlimited money. My biggest fear is being, called a terrorist from the nation that I love.
Your entire life could be taken away from you for something you didn't do. What they've done is destroying lives.
And I will not stop until he's free or I'm done.
My office is don't let the facts get in the way of a good story.
Hello everyone, my name is Christina. I'm the director and producer of Kidnap and Kill, an FBI Terror Plot, which you just watched the second trailer for. For those of you who don't know the story behind the film, let me just give you some background information. I'm an independent journalist who's been reporting on the case since these men were arrested for the past 4 years. We released our first trailer last year. We'd only conducted one interview at that time, and I used that to fundraise so that we've done multiple trips to Michigan. We've been able to interview over 20 different people across 8 different states. We've been able to travel to locations of interest, interview eyewitnesses, interview family members, get the stories of these men. And now that we've released the second trailer and we've done that work, we aren't fully funded. We still need to meet our fundraising goals so that we can edit the documentary, pay our editor, hire him an assistant, pay our colorist, pay a composer, pay a graphics person, pay for marketing and advertising. There's so much that goes into producing a documentary of this kind. It's such a massive and complex story. It's such a big story. It requires a lot of resources, and we need your help in order to tell this story and to get it done in a timely manner. These men don't have 3 years to wait for me to raise the funds over that time to get it out. They need this out sooner rather than later, so it's super important that we meet our full fundraising goal, which you can find on our website, knkfilm.com/donate. That will take you directly to our Give, Send, Go fundraiser, and any bit you can donate helps. This entire project has been 100% crowdsourced. We had no experience doing this before. We've never made a documentary before. We had no production company. We've had to teach ourselves all of this along the way. And I hope that you've seen all the work we've done reflected in this most recent trailer. And I hope that you guys help support this documentary. It means so much, I know, to these men and to their families, but also to our nation. Americans need to know what our government did 4 years ago. They need to know what the FBI is doing to American citizens right now. This story is bigger than Michigan. It's not just about what they can do.
Hello, this is a prepaid call from
Brian.
an inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse it, your current balance is $71.48. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Telling.
Hey there, this
Hey
is
guys,
Cheryl
how are
from Northern Neck.
I'm sorry, who is this?
This is Cheryl from Northern Neck. Is this Brian?
Hi, Cheryl. Yeah, it's Brian. How are you guys?
Good.
Hey.
We're all here. The gang's all here.
Hey, Brian.
Oh, there. Hey, guys. How are you?
Good.
Good. You?
Good. Another day in DC
Paradise.
DOC here. That's not too much change. They're not there, unfortunately.
But no, I did. I had a visit today from. It was from. I can't even remember her name now. For boxes, it was within earshot. But I did have one of the supporters from I think from the Virginia area over here come and visit with me today, and that was very nice.
Oh, nice.
Female or male?
But it was a female. It was a shorter lady.
Heather?
No, it wasn't Heather. It was an older, short lady. I'm blanking.
Sorry.
But I also have somebody talking right next to me too, so I'm trying to think, and then I'm hearing a second conversation at the same time. It's hard for me to do that, but
yeah. Deb comes in.
But yeah, she came.
Deb comes in a lot. Was it Deb?
What's Deb's last name?
Oh, now you got me stumped. I don't have it.
Baker?
I do think it was Deb. Ash, maybe?
That might be it.
Does that sound right?
Yeah, she's really knowledgeable.
Yes.
Very knowledgeable person. Yeah.
Yeah, she was very, very, very nice. And she came and visited with me today, so I went down and talked with her for an hour, so that was good. That's the first visit I've had since the family day that they did last weekend. And that was really good, because I mean, those two are the only two visits I've had since I've been here. No, I met with Tina too.
Okay.
Tina met with me before I went to Philadelphia, I believe. I met Tina came to meet with me and talk with me, but I've only had a few visitations. And the jail, for some reason, has had a very hard time approving any visitor lists. So every time visitors come up here and people ask if you want to visit, I always say yes, and nobody is ever on my visitation list because the jail has not processed them or put them on my list. It's kind of been a struggle. I mean, I've only been here for 5 months now. I mean, I'm sure they'll get around to it eventually.
Poor thing.
5 months.
My sentencing's in 5 weeks, so I'll probably be out of here before they get the people on my approved visitor list. So.
Let's pray.
Yeah. When is your sentencing again?
Let me
see if I have it here. November 15th at 2 p.m. Yeah.
Hey, one of the folks on the live stream said Debbie Ash. Does that sound right for today?
Yep, that is yeah, I do believe so.
All right, yeah. Well, thank you all.
Awesome.
Yeah, she was a super sweet lady, and she didn't get too many words in edgewise, but she heard pretty much my whole story.
How's your leg doing, by the way?
It's quite large. It's quite large, yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, it's been going on since April now, a month before my trial. Today was particularly swollen. I actually showed her too, because part of the story I was talking about getting sent to Philadelphia and stuff, and I said, actually I was talking about my bond being revoked initially, because I wasn't wearing it, because I couldn't wear an ankle monitor. I said, my leg's still like that. I pulled up my pant leg so you could see it. She said, oh my gosh. She said, oh my Lord.
Show them during your sentencing, maybe you'll get it less.
Yeah, I think at this point.
Do anything, have a fit.
Make sure I go to a facility with no medical treatment whatsoever.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm thinking about like requesting, for my prison sentence, they say you can request. I think I'm going to ask them for like Alaska, like Washington State, and Hawaii or something, and maybe I'll get somewhere over here by my home in Alabama.
Yeah, that's
do pull a little reverse psychology on them or something. Yeah. I was actually just talking about that. They've been giving us the same tray here inside the pod for like I would say. We took like the last 20 lunch and dinner trays that we had. We've gotten this bag of lasagna Florentine. It's not very good, but we've had it so many times. Like everybody's got like 10 of them in their room because like they just come in and like, I'll just eat some of my commissary. I just won't eat it all because we're just so sick of it. I was like, you know what I'm gonna do, guys? I said I'm gonna write an IGP, which is an inmate said, but instead of grieving, I'm just gonna thank the jail for all the lasagna Florentine. I'm gonna tell them how much we enjoy the lasagna Florentine, how we've taken these lasagna Florentines and made a real lasagna in the microwave, and it came out delicious. And I just wanted to I didn't want to complain about anything. I just want to take the time to thank them for the lasagna Florentine, and please keep giving it to us so that way, like, we can ensure we never get another lasagna.
I think you should do it and see what happens.
Yeah.
Because that would be a fact. Like, if somebody were to thank them and tell them how much we're enjoying the multiple trays of lasagna Florentine a week, like,
I'd be careful.
Cross
I may
that
never
off.
get anything else again.
yeah, it's great. You know, C3P is no more lasagna ever. By the way, P.S. we also like the vegetable stew. Pretty much, the only thing we don't like is anything with chicken in it.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
Real
Please
chicken.
don't give us real meat.
Real
Yeah,
chicken.
we figured out the game now.
We're vegetarians.
Like, what is it, Huckleberry Finn? I love whitewashing the thing. Whitewashing the thing is so much fun.
Any one boy in 1,000 can do it the way it's gotta be done.
Yeah.
That's it. If you give me 3 marbles, I'll let you whitewash it then. Yeah, that's it.
That's right.
That's good.
Did you see what they did to Tina?
Yeah. Yeah.
Boy, that is like, that woman hasn't been through enough. I believe she's a Gold Star mom, if I remember correctly.
That's right. Yeah, Tina
I
Peters.
Oh, yeah.
I spoke with her once in Nashville at the Reawaken America tour that I was on back before I went to jail, and a brief conversation. Super sweet lady, who obviously a MAGA cute patriot, you know, and
No signal HD memory to check if the source device is connected and powered on, or press the select on button to select the input for the source device.
Ignore the background noise.
We have a television,
Turn it off.
a smart TV. It's so smart it just
It's
talks
smarter
to us
than
whenever
us.
it wants to.
oh, fantastic! I love when my electronics talk to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I just, I feel horrible for her. I feel, you know, not that I'm not going through a great miscarriage justice, but this woman's been through enough, and she absolutely did the right thing, and I think the nation will see that at some point in the world, and I don't foresee her doing 9 years in state prison over that. I hope she's out immediately, but I think she's going to be in the same class as a lot of J6ers and having to get her restitution and her stuff reinstated on the backside of something. I don't know what that event is, but
Yeah, I'm with you.
I pray for her, and I pray for her family.
I got to meet her once at one of the vigils in DC, and you're right, she's a super nice lady. And I'll tell the story after the call, really what's going on, but I got to tell you, I did get to see, it's all over the X platform, the judge's, not his testimony, but basically when the judge handed down his sentence, he was so demeaning, and he called her a liar in 6 ways to Sunday, and that she basically deserved it. She was seeking attention, and well, now you got it, kind of thing. It was nasty, just awful. And that judge, I hope will rue the day that he has to stand in account for what he did to her.
We all got to stand in account for our actions, and I can't imagine that that's a natural reaction to something like that. It seems pretty demonic to me, and just to do that. I mean, she was a county clerk that was doing her job and was concerned about maintaining her records like she was supposed to, and the way that I understand it, it seems like did it through absolutely the right channels, and the only way and the appropriate way to do it, and I think that they're mad because I think she called her hand in the cookie jar, and I think the whole country as a whole someday will be very grateful for Tina's bravery and her fortitude and perseverance, and the wisdom she had to preserve those records.
Right.
Because those digital copies have the algorithm, if you will, of what I believe believe how they did what they did, you know what I mean? And without that digital footprint to compare to the before and after flashes, I think we're in a much different spot today. So I think I have a debt of gratitude to Ms. Tina Peters, and I think the nation someday will see how much of a patriot she really is, and how amazing what she did was. But I don't know. I think only time will tell.
You nailed it, and the way that happens, contrary to the way this has been done over and over, is they hit these people so hard, you and your compatriots as well, hitting you with sentences that are just ridiculous. Put you away for as long as you can until people forget about it and the news cycle moves on. But we're not going to let that happen.
We're not going to forget you.
Not going to forget you guys. We're not going to forget Tina Peters or anybody else that we've come across here that's had their rights just completely trampled on.
Yeah, and that's really what it is. It's just a miscarriage of justice, and what's the word I'm looking for? There's been no due process. Nobody's gotten any due process here. Like the system is fixed. You know what I mean? Like they give the fixes in before you get in there. You know, they've got predetermined outcomes and predetermined rules of what you can and can't defend against, what you can and can't say, what evidence. I mean, they won't let you bring any evidence in unless the prosecution brings it in, and it's a kangaroo court process, and that seems to be. I mean, it's showing itself out. Like we know in the DC circuit that that's what's happening to us in here. I mean, you guys have been following it and seen it enough. I've lived it. A lot of all the guys in here have lived it. But clearly, this is systemic. Like out from not only the federal circuit courts or certain federal circuit courts, but out into certain state courts as well. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
That hurts my heart. But
well, the other thing that
nothing gets fixed until it's brought into the light. You know what I mean?
That's right.
It's nothing else that's brought into the light now.
Yep. Agreed. The other thing I think is good news. We're seeing a lot of people all around the country finding ways to figure out how to get some aid and comfort to the folks in North Carolina, Tennessee, and so on. And that's really been. It's on the one hand, it's so disappointing to see our federal government's response. But on the other hand, to see what individual citizens are doing to pull together and help, whether it's just through monetary donations or gathering food together, going out there and I'm learning about some great organizations I didn't even know existed, So that's some pretty good stuff.
What is it? I was going to ask you, is it true, this is through the rumor mill, but is it true that during President Biden's, what I heard was his first press brief when he took office, he was asked about the storm and the devastation of the storm, and he asked what storm?
Yes.
Well,
is that true, or is that hearsay?
Well, I saw a clip of him being asked about the storm.
Oh my God.
It didn't look like that was in the press conference. That looked like it was in a hallway somewhere, maybe leading up to it. I don't know, but he was asked, and he kind of hesitated and said, "What storm?"
What other storm is there?
But in the press
You
conference,
have 1 minute remaining.
in the press conference, he came out and said, "Hi, I'm Joe Biden," because it was his first time he was ever in there for.
I'm your president.
I had heard that since taking office almost 4 years ago, this was the first time he did a press release.
Yes.
That's crazy. But I just had the 1 minute warning on my end, so before it hangs up on me, I wanted to thank you guys so much for everything you're doing. Thank you for the newsletters that you guys are sending. Thank you for putting our stories out, our names out. God bless you guys, and Godspeed.
Well, God bless you, Brian.
Thanks for calling. We'll talk to you next week then.
Hey, next week is our 2-year anniversary, so make sure to call us.
All right. I'll call back next Friday.
All right.
Sounds good, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Have a blessed night.
You too.
You too.
Thank you for using Global Telling.
Well, I know, but I want to make sure those guys know it.
Yeah, we have to announce.
You've probably been sending it to them anyway, right? You've been sending them flyers or info.
Yeah, I did. Not all of them, but some.
All right, so that was Brian Smith with a Y, right? B-R-Y-A-N?
Yes.
All right. And then our first caller was Josh Atwood. So, well, our TV's off right now, but I was just showing a clip from Kidnap and Kill, and you can find that at K&K Films. All right. Did I get that right, Maurice? I don't know. It was just K&K.
K&K Films.
Yeah, K&K Film. K and K Film.com. And that's about the Gretchen Whitmer Fednapping case, where I think there's 4 individuals still behind bars, but this was a setup. I think there were more federal, what do you call them?
Assets?
Assets, yeah, there's the name they use for it, but infiltrators. There were more infiltrators in the group than there were people,
Yes,
in the group.
instigators. They had hundreds of them in there.
Oh, you mean like the January 6th rally?
No, yeah, exactly.
So we've heard.
In this case, they were the bad guys.
Oh, gosh.
Oh.
But that film, I don't know when she's going to release it. I think she's, as she said, she's been working on it for 4 years and been advocating for those guys, doing interviews, etc. But they need to finish the production and get it done as quickly as can. So another great film to check into and support if you can.
So crowdsourcing of film production is kind of an interesting thing, and it's new. It's only been happening since all this corruption came to light.
Mm-hmm.
And seriously, just like about 4 years ago, Angel Studios came online. And so Cheryl and I kind of like some of their productions. I think the first one was The Chosen. Still waiting for the next season of that because they have not finished the story, but they're awesome, and they're the ones that bought the rights to Sounds of Freedom. And if not for them and their crowdsourcing technique, that movie would have been shut down permanently.
Really?
Yeah, the major production houses were shutting it down. It got stuck on the shelf, never to see the light of day, and then Angel Studios was able to acquire enough funding to go get it.
This is a prepaid call from an inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this call, press 0. To refuse this call, hang up. Your current balance is $69.76. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tellink.
Hey, Jonathan.
What's happening? How you doing?
Good. How you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing good. Yeah, I'm feeling good.
It's Friday. You should.
Workout, staying active. Yeah. How y'all doing?
Oh, we're doing fine.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Yep, we had last week. I don't know if anybody talked about it, but they gave us Family Day. Which was, that was a blast. We got a lot of families were able to come. And they had popcorn out there, hot dogs. Then we actually got a 3-hour visit, and actually got to sit with each other instead of having like usually they'll keep you with COVID rules where you have to stay 6 feet apart while you visit, and you're not allowed to do even hug or anything. You get one hug and that's it. But then they had family visit, which was totally different. You got to hang out and actually, sit beside each other and got to see all the family. You got to have your whole family there. So it was a blast. It was a good time. A lot of the guys were there, and a lot of the families got to meet each other.
That's what I was going to ask you. So you were all in a big room. You got to meet other family members of your friends in there.
Right. Yeah. So that was neat. It was it's where we usually do rec, which is a big basketball court, and so they just
put a bunch of chairs and tables in there, and they had a DJ in there playing a little music. And they just brought them all in, and all of us got to, you know, talk with each other. We could walk around, and it wasn't nearly as strict as it usually is. And so it was nice. It was like a little taste of what it's going to be like when everybody gets to get out, you know, the reunion. Everybody was meeting each other and seeing all the different families, and it was a good time. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
It was a big treat, which was crazy because, you know, they said it was pretty rare for us to get that. They've never done that ever for the pod, so it's a pretty big deal. So I don't know if they're trying to look good before the election happens and everything, or I don't know, but it was nice. We really enjoyed it. All the families had a good time.
So did your mom and dad came in? Did anybody else come in?
Yeah, it's my mom and dad, my brother and sister, and then my sister and brother-in-law that they're married, and they came up, and so I had a pretty good group, and which I have 8 siblings, so they all wanted to come up, so they had to pick, basically draw straws who was going to be able to come, and so it was pretty funny, but that was the the 2 youngest, and then one of the oldest ones, and then her husband come up, and we had a blast.
Nice.
Seeing them, and then mom and dad, of course.
That's great.
So, oh yeah, it's pretty special. So,
we were talking.
Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead.
We were talking to Josh Atwood earlier. He said he held his baby for 3 hours. He didn't know why his arms were so sore afterwards. But
oh yeah, not used to it. Oh man, that's sad. That's terrible. Yeah. Oh man, that was good. Good seeing him. Which is crazy what they're trying to do. Is, you know, they're not letting nobody else in here. They've already told us they're not letting anybody else in here, and just waiting till all of us leave so they can shut down the, you know, J6 pod. So Atwood, it was good seeing him. He hasn't been able to come back to the pod and actually been in here. And we've been trying everything to get him back, but they're like, no, nobody's coming back. And but it was good seeing him. It was good. I was super happy he was actually allowed to come to the visit because he was in a separate pod at that time. So it was good.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I don't understand why they don't want to let you guys just move on to another pod and clean it up for them. That's what you do, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. But I guess they just don't want to pay for any more help, and they're so short-handed. They just want to stuff everybody and pack them in one cell or pack them in one pod, and then they don't have to hire as much help. And just make it miserable for us because we don't really matter that much. And so I guess they're trying to get rid of this place because there's not enough people. And
okay.
They got their first reason. So it was. Have y'all heard much about North Carolina and how it's doing over there with all the hurricane damage?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that anybody has really good estimates. We've heard that there are up to 900 people that are unidentified. They've got their bodies, and I've heard that. People are saying it's going to be over 1,000. I think Katrina was 1,400, wasn't it? Something like that. Yeah. So Katrina, people think that it may surpass Katrina in terms of the loss of life.
It will.
Man,
that's terrible. I was seeing a report earlier today from a sheriff down there, the local sheriff, and he said that they'd already gone through 500 body bags, and they're still seeing bodies in trees and cars and mud bogs and all kinds of mess.
Oh, that's terrible.
Entire towns have been wiped
out. Yeah, I know my dad, him and one of my couple cousins, they went up there. As soon as they got back from the family visit, they loaded up the trucks with supplies and tractors and stuff and headed up there. And he said there's so many people that have come out to help. He said there's about 800 dump trucks that were lined up, just people from all over the country coming out to help. He said it put him to tears just looking at how many people from all over the place have come, help each other out, and how they just went straight to work, finding people and trying to cut trees down and everything, clearing the roads out. And because we have family up there, we usually go up every year and visit them. What they were doing pretty good. They were able to clear the roads to get to them. Some of them are pretty far out in the country, and so they cleared some roads to get to them. But he said, churches are getting, a lot of people are dropping stuff off at the churches, because the churches are filling up other people's trucks, bursted out, whoever needs it. So they said there's a lot of people coming out, helping out. American spirit.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, there's so many different ways people can help, even if it's just, find a good, reputable organization that you can just send some money to, or gather up, gather up all the necessities. I see all these lists on, different postings and so on of the basic necessities, some you wouldn't think about,
Yeah.
But that's what they need, and
yeah.
And they need prayers, and they need lots of those. That's for sure.
That's right, and it's crazy. He said there's a bunch of people with helicopters, that brought their helicopters out there trying to get people that are stuck that can't be picked up any other way, and the government's trying to tell them all to go home. They're going to deal with it. Like typical government, let us take care of it. We know what we're doing. Just, we'll screw things up, send everybody away. Man, that's crazy.
Yeah,
The government has to start telling people what to do, even if they're doing a good thing.
Well, I saw a good summary on that, on why that happens, and this gentleman's thinking is that it's like anywhere else. You have people, even at lower levels, like that have power complexes, and this is my jurisdiction, and I'll tell you.
Oh yeah.
So
Napoleon syndrome.
Yeah, one of the helicopter, it was a really small chopper. He and his son, who's his co-pilot, were out there, and they were just flying out and seeing who they could help, and they picked up a gentleman and his wife were stranded. They were able to pick up the wife and bring her back, but he had to leave his son there, who's worried about the weight, and the landing area was very unstable. And it was only a 3-minute flight, so his goal was to drop her off, go back, get the husband, then come back and get his son. They wouldn't let him return after the wife was dropped off.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
Yeah. So anyway, but that's just an example.
Yeah. No, it's not crazy. But yeah, like you said, they need their prayers out there, and they need help, because they went through it. There's damage out there. It's terrible. But it is neat, when you think, the American spirit is dying off, and people don't care about their neighbors. And when a tragedy happens like this, and you really see it, see really just people from all over the country come together in the simple fact that it doesn't matter what you believe in, it doesn't matter, who you are. I'm here to help you, and I'm gonna get you back on your feet. And that's what Americans are all about. And I love it. I love to hear it. And that's what my dad, he said it was so encouraging, just seeing it, just being a part of it, and seeing just people coming from all over the place, lined up, just willing to do whatever it takes to help people out. So that was good.
Well, your dad's no wallflower, so if somebody told him, "Sir, you're not allowed to go up there," I think he probably would push back a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what he's saying. So many people are like, "Yeah, we don't really care. We're doing what needs to be done." Listen, you take a seat, oh government, and we're gonna do what needs to happen here.
Right.
So, it was good.
You gotta love it.
Stuff. Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah, we did. We're doing a little exercise in here. We have a pretty good group that tries to stay busy, tries to stay active. Just, you're stuck in a pod 24 hours of the day, and still we're doing an exercise. And we have a guy in here, Marsh, and then my buddy Hutch. They're always competing for seeing who's the fittest, and so they decided, hey, we're going to do this race to see who can do 1,000 air squats and 500 lunges. They can do it faster. And so we take off racing, And I mean, you talk about sore. You have to do 200 air squats and then do your 20 punches and then 5 rounds.
What's an air squat?
Or it's more than that. It's, I forget how many lunges. But anyways, it ends up to be 500. But I mean, we were burning it. And we got it done in 35 minutes. And so, but now we're dead. I mean, you can see them. They'll be walking and just like slowly like collapse because their legs are so daggum wore out.
So,
but it's pretty good workout.
It sounds like it. You guys are going to be in better shape coming out of there than
you were when you went in.
Oh, 100%. Yes, sir.
You gotta watch out.
Which I guess we don't really have an excuse. That's all you really can do.
Yeah. So someone asked, what's an air squat?
So an air squat, you don't have any weight or anything. You just stand there and squat down to where your legs are vertical, a perfect 90, and then back up.
Gotcha.
And so it's just, you don't have any weight. So it's just an air squat. And then the lunge where you go down on one knee and then back up on the next knee.
Yep.
It's good. By the time you hit 500, you're like, dang.
Yeah,
I didn't really want to do this.
I was just thinking about it.
25 and my legs wobble. Honestly.
That's a lot.
Uh-huh.
That's great.
A little bit ago, we did 500 with weight, and I mean, our legs were sore for a week, but they're like, man, we gotta up it. We gotta do 1,000. And I'm like, oh my goodness, y'all are crazy. But it's good. You gotta push yourself. You gotta raise the bar.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't believe it's 30 days or so to the election. I
know.
That's wild. Yeah, the guys are excited. They're like, man, wow, because we had our trial. We were gonna be going to trial here in 2 weeks, and my buddy, his co-defendant, he's representing himself. He's like, you haven't given me any of the evidence. You haven't given me all the things I need. You're trying to take me to.
You have 1 minute remaining.
And so they pushed it back to January 24th. And so we're like, hopefully when we get to that point, we'll be able to tell the judge, listen, man, you just go ahead and send us home because, Trump's already going to pardon us and, Lord willing, get us out of here. So,
yes, indeed.
Might as well just let it head on to the house. But I don't know. It's pretty funny though. People are excited. Got the hopes up. That's good.
That's what we're praying for. So, hey, nice talking to you. Next Friday's our 2-year anniversary. Make sure you call us, okay?
Man, 2 years. Wow, that's awesome. Yeah. That's so nice. All righty. Hey, thank y'all again for being out there and giving us a voice and being able to speak out. Y'all are amazing.
Thank you.
Catch y'all on the next one, I reckon.
Thanks, Jonathan. God bless you.
All right. See y'all.
Love that kid.
Thank you for using Global Telling.
I did hear the 1 minute.
I thought so too, yeah.
So we got it in there.
So we beat Gertie.
Yeah.
So next week is our 2-year anniversary for doing J6 prisoner vigils. It's Friday, October 11th from 7 o'clock till 9 o'clock, but we're not gonna be here. We're gonna be in front of the NNRJ, which is 3908 Richmond Road in Wausau. So don't show up here, go to Wausau in front of the NNRJ. And bring a chair, and bring a friend, and bring anybody you want. Then on Saturday, October 12th, if you want to go to a Trump rally in Virginia, it's Lottsburg, Virginia. It's at 1032 Bleak House Farm Lane in Lottsburg, and that's from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock, and it's $20 per person when you get through the gate. So, but there's wine there, so you could come and have some wine and some soft drinks and diggity dogs and there's food trucks and patriotism and
a band. Is there gonna be
a band, a real good band.
You want to say something?
I was just going to point out that it's pronounced Warsaw.
Oh,
I love you, baby.
Wausau sounds pretty good to me, though. NNRJ, by the way, NNRJ is Northern Neck Regional Jail, where about 60 of the January 6ers were held for a period of about, I guess, over 2 years total, right? Seems like it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were some of them there before we started, so close to 2 years. But yeah, that's where we're going to be. So, and bring drinks, bring a chair, bring a candle, flashlight, something like that. It's dark this time of year when we start our vigil anymore, and
Pack up the truck.
yep. So we got to get our stuff together for that.
Pray for no rain.
It's supposed to be great weather. Next Friday, long range forecast looks good.
Good.
Yeah.
URLs are working.
I just want to speak about this again. Last Friday, I read about an article on Substack from an attorney who is who has represented at least one J6er in Maryland, talking about a new Civil War era charge that is popping up. And I've looked through all of the newly charged individuals. I do not see it, but this is 18 U.S.C. 372. It's a Civil War era. 1861 was when this was enacted, and it's the language states that it's unlawful to intimidate officers of the United States, and it goes on from there a little bit, but you could look that up if you wanted to. This is allegedly in response to the U.S. Supreme Court turning over the 18 U.S.C. 1512C2 charge. That was the obstruction of an official proceeding. That was the Enron era charge that the DOJ, I'll just say it, bastardized, just looked at it and said, the wording here, we can turn that around and make, okay, obstructing an official proceeding seems like certifying the vote in Congress would be an official proceeding, so let's use it. Supreme Court said, nah, you can't use it, because that was actually meant to punish people who were destroying documents, shredding documents during the Enron era hearings, and they gave it a 20-year punishment because Congress said, no, we're investigating you, and you're destroying documents while we're investigating you? Nuh-uh, we're not going to have that, and that's going to be a serious, lengthy sentence that's attached with this if you get charged with it. So again, that was overturned, and that took away one of the longest and largest sentencing opportunities that the government was relying on. I think there were over 300 J6ers that were charged with 18 U.S.C. 1512C2. So I have heard that there may be people coming back to D.C. to answer for this new charge. If anyone knows of anyone who has been given this 18 U.S.C. 372 charge, please let us know, either through the chat or my email address is help NNP for Northern Neck Patriots at outlook.com. I'd love to hear it. That's all I got for now. Oh, just to clarify, there is a charge that has stuck that's been around for a while. It's 18 U.S.C. 231A3. It's an obstruction of an officer or a fireman, and that charge is one of the more common ones that they have. So don't be confused by that. This one is specifically about intimidating an officer of the United States. The reason why, again, this will not stand is because the interpretation that will come back is that members of Congress are not officers of the United States. There's a difference, and there's precedent there that they are elected to their office, but does not make them officers of the United States. You have to be appointed to that role. So hopefully not too many folks are gonna be hit with this. The other thing we're hearing about is the difference of sentences being consecutive versus concurrent. Most of the charges, so to date, especially folks that have had the 1512C2, any of their other charges were, thank you, were concurrent. So you basically, your pain was the largest and longest sentence that was applied to you. But there's also the potential that judges are starting to make sentences concurrent. Again, they're looking for the biggest bang for the buck. They want to put people away for the longest amount of time that they can, especially right before the election, so that they can say, look, these insurrection type people, look at what they did and look at how many years they're spending in jail. So we need to really keep on top of that and raise a big stink if that's what's happening. So, what time are we?
46.
All right, we got a few minutes before they call in again. Other thing I would say to folks is go to a sentencing. Go to a trial. It's very easy to get into the courthouse downtown. It's not hard at all. You can go on the district court website. You can look it up or reach out to your friendly J6 supporter. We can tell you Cheryl does a great job of. Did you read the upcoming sentences? I'm not sure if you did that earlier.
Yes.
Okay. I might have been dicking around with something else, but what I had next week I had, I'm not sure, yeah. What do we have for next week, if you could?
Joseph Hutchinson and Turner and...
Joseph Hutchinson is not until the 15th though, so there's nothing next week that we know, right?
No.
Okay. So the 15th on Tuesday is Joseph Hutchinson at 9 a.m.
Then the 18th.
Greg Purdy on the 18th at 1 p.m. You know,
With his uncle.
hit Greg and his uncle at the same time?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's Robert Turner. his uncle.
Robert Turner, okay. Yep. Unless they shift him off, so we'll just keep an eye on that. Worried about me there, huh?
I have mine online too. Make sure it's always closed.
We should put a big waving flag in the wind to play for the national anthem.
That's
We could probably do
Power
that.
on.
Broadcasting out, can't reach this page.
We're live.
Might just have to reboot.
Reboot.
notes.
Oh, King keeps telling me why. Okay, so I pulled up, this was the little preview trailer that we were watching for Kidnap and Kill, an FBI terror plot. So again, that website is the letter K, ANDK film.com, and you can learn a lot about this. And so this is so similar to January 6th. And she's done a great job with this video that she's working on, but also the information around all these people. So I definitely recommend spending some time taking a look at the trailer there, and you can learn more about the people. So how to help the guys, again, just like J6. How do you get these guys help? Little background stories on them.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the same story. It's the same story, just a different day, different group of FBI agents and different stuff. Write to the guys. How do you do that? I mean, Cheryl, remember how did you learn how to write to the guys? You just figured it out, right?
Patriot Mail
Project. Yeah. But here you go: Adam Fox, Barry Croft, Pete Musico, Paul Bellar, Joe Morrison. I think, yeah, those are the 5. I think I said 4 earlier. Those are the 5 that are still behind bars. So definitely check it out. I don't know if you can read that, everybody online, but I'll read it until we get our next call. On October 8th, 2020, the FBI announced the arrest of 13 men who were allegedly attempting to formulate a plan to kidnap Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer and otherwise use violence to overthrow the state government. This event, dubbed the Whitmer Fednapping hoax, was astroturfed by every mainstream media outlet as proof that individuals they consider far right are dangerous domestic terrorists. None of these opinions by the media have been based in fact, and these men have lost their livelihoods, homes, relationships, and more because of a failed justice system. Even the 2 men who were acquitted of their charges, Brandon Caserta and Daniel Harris, have difficulty finding employment and moving past this obvious entrapment because neither the media nor the government is held accountable for their lies. The FBI opened investigation on these men over the types of memes they shared on Facebook and their alleged discontent with the current political climate, including law enforcement. The FBI then utilized its assets to fund, plan, and attempt to bring to fruition a plan to commit terrorist acts against state actors on domestic soil, and chose this group of men as a scapegoat for it. The FBI used at least 12 informants and 2 undercover agents with unfettered access to taxpayer funds to purchase alcohol, ammunition, vehicles, drugs, explosives, and more in order to frame these men for the felonies that the FBI themselves were committing. The goal of this film is to expose the festering rot and corruption of the federal government's police agencies, the media's venomous bias, and show everyone who's willing to listen that they have no idea how bad things truly are. We as a country need to make a change and start holding these people accountable before it's too late. So again, every time I've seen anything, Christina is the person who is behind this. Follow her on X. Every time I've seen anything, it just continuously reminds me of the J6 situation. I repost a lot of her things just because people need to be thinking about that. And there are others. The Justice Denied book that I'm talking about, Hal Wohl is just one in a case of many people who have been wrongly accused, indicted, tried, and sentenced for crimes they didn't commit. The numbers are staggering, and it's in the book, and I don't have it with me to give you the actual numbers, but the numbers of people who have been wrongly convicted and served time in jail, the numbers are huge. And there's no accountability for it. If they get let go and freed, great, but how do they make up that time? How do the J6ers get the time back that they've had taken from them? They don't. But I think they will have their day in the sun, and I think you're going to see a lot of great things come out of J6ers.
already.
We already have, you're right, we already have.
We got Taylor Janatakis, for example.
You put it on the mic.
One of the great ones that I like to pay attention to is Taylor Janatakis, who many of you may recall has called into this vigil several times until I believe he got moved. But his writings, I got permission to post some of them on our website. You can find them at peasantsperspective.com. And it's just amazing what this guy writes. Like, he did this one about political conflict. And it reads, political science is the science of power, specifically power over people. Politics is a synonym for power. Political conflict, by definition, Thomas Paine calls them political physicians, prescribe various government systems to control, harness, and direct power over people. In its most basic sense, government comes from the words govern, to control, and ment equals mind. Quite literally, government is in the business of mind control. Politics is the machination of a body politic, which is the control of the people, the source of all power. Vox populi, vox Dei. The collective has inherent within it all power by a series of shared collective fictions. We share language, customs, and culture, which the collective enforces by tradition and sometimes organized government. These customs and cultures give rise to theories on how the power of the collective Sorry. Oh my God, we have our very own new Gertie here. There are two broad principles that all political theories begin and end with. No matter what it boils down to, individualism and collectivism. Individualism begins and ends with the individual man or woman being its highest priority and purpose of the language, custom, culture, and government. All those things function to uphold the rights of the individual from the collective. Individual rights to property, life, and the pursuit of happiness are upheld. The functions of society and government begin and end with the individual as its priority. Individualism, by definition, does not allow any form of power maintained by brute force or compulsion over the individuals, excepting to prevent an individual from being harmed. Individuals must deal with each other on the basis of equity, not always, however, from a place of equality. Republicanism and volunteerism are its brands. Collectivism, on the other hand, has as its priority the good, usually determined by a nefarious elite, of the collective. Collectivism sets out not to support the individual as a means to itself, but rather the individual is a means to support the collective. Collectivism is team play and tribalism. Collectivism is individuals sacrificing something for the common good. It is equality at the sake of equity. Typically, this drags the individuals down into a state of equality rather than raise the collective up to the level of the achievers. Collectivisms, plural. It's showtime.
Hello, this is a prepaid call from
Dominic Fox.
an inmate at the Washington, D.C. Central Detention Facility. To accept this call, press 0. Your current balance is $68.05. This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording. Thank you for using Global Tele.
Hello, Northern Day.
Hey, Dominic.
Hey.
Right on time.
The entire J6 wing is ducked off in the corner right next to my cell. We've been having horrific trouble with our tablets tonight. So I've been trying to call for like the last 10 minutes, but all the guys are helping out, and they're actually over here getting ready to call Freedom Corner here in DC right now. So we may be about 30 seconds late tonight, but we're glad to be calling in and talking to you guys.
Glad.
How you
Thank
doing
you.
In Northern Tennessee?
Well, we'll hold tight for you to get them on then.
Awesome. Yeah, I've got Johnny Pollock and Joe Hutchinson right next to me, getting ready to get things going. While we get going on that, I've got to know. I assume you guys watched the debate, right? The incredible performance.
Oh, yeah.
by J.D. Vance.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, as I'm sure you know, very interestingly, Tim Walz is friends with school shooters. That was kind of we had to watch that back a few times, but very, very impressed with JD's performance, and like I said, you know, after reading Hillbilly Elegy, I understand a lot more why President Trump chose him as his running mate, and I think his exceptional skill set really shows through. And we can talk about that a little bit more. I think we're about to get through to the Freedom Corner right now. We'll do the anthem, and then I'll be back here in just a minute, okay?
All right.
Don't get old, folks. Just standing up. Are you freaking?
She has no blood.
He wants to hold my knee.
God, you're like a little heater.
That our flag was still there. Oh, sing the flag, star spangled banner, for the land of the free and the home of the brave. USA, fight, 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 fight.
Okay, J6ers. They are the brave, too. Yep. Thank you, guys. That's
Going back.
All right. Well, guys, thank you for being there for us tonight again. And yeah, just to kind of finish up on that thought, I was somebody who initially, we did an internal poll on who we thought was going to be President Trump's running mate. And I think the leading candidate ended up being, it was actually Tulsi Gabbard and Vivek Ramaswamy. And we've actually got one of the guys in here, Jonathan Copeland from Ohio. He mentioned, that JD, obviously JD was one of the guys that was mentioned as being in contention. He advocated for him, but I didn't really know a lot about him. I knew that he had written a book. I knew that he had the Netflix special, the Netflix movie, and that they had labeled him as this, Silicon Valley, elitist lawyer. And then when I read his book, I was blown away because it resonated so much with my experience growing up in the Midwest. And not to say that I had the same upbringing, because I was very fortunate not to, but I saw a lot of people who went through a lot of the same things that JD did, and just watching, truly the definition of the American dream, coming from a single mother family where she was a drug addict for many years, moving from house to house, men in and out of his life, being raised by his grandparents, and then almost failing out of high school, to making it all the way after, going to the Marine Corps, using the GI Bill to attend Ohio State, and then ultimately scoring well enough to attend Yale Law School, one of our nation's premier institutions, no matter what we may think about their liberal tendencies. If you're going to be a lawyer, Yale is one of the best schools, obviously, to go to, and to just really see, that this guy is the definition of the American dream. I think he resonates a lot with not just with his skill set, but just his background. And I think if more people get to know not just the incredible way that he speaks, but what he really, stands for and where he comes from, I think a lot of people would resonate even more than they already are. We already know that the country, the polls are fake, and so is the news. But I think that anybody that still has any questions about who you want to stand for, J.D. Vance is not somebody that has misrepresented his background. He's never claimed military service that he didn't earn or complete. He has an immigrant wife. His wife's wife is Indian. He has biracial children. And he's somebody that is truly, though he may, be one of the quote-unquote financial elite now, he's earned every penny. And I tip my hat to him. And I was, blown away with the performance that he put on in the debate. And though it got me a little bit of some suspicious looks a couple of weeks ago, I think JD did much better than President Trump did in his debate as far as just, staying steady and, answering every question in a way that, there was nothing that got him rattled. He didn't veer off course. And I thought my favorite question, and the way he answered it, was about the climate change and the environment, because that's really kind of one of those gotcha questions that the liberal media likes to ask. Well, we don't believe in climate change. We can talk about warming and cooling patterns and thermogenics for hours, and be accused of being interested in chemtrails and all that stuff. But to bring the conversation back to the true need for bringing and returning manufacturing to the United States, which, as anybody who has an honest an objective view of the topic, when we rely on China and India and Venezuela for our energy and our products, the large contributors to pollution. I don't like to use the phrase climate change. I thought it was a brilliant question that really followed up on what President Trump mentioned at his rally in Savannah about how we're going to bring manufacturing back, how we're going to incentivize production and the true middle class here in America to build in America, to buy American. And again, I was just absolutely blown away with his performance.
Yeah, I think you nailed it very, very well. I did not actually watch it on network TV or anything like that, because I don't watch that. I was on an X space, so I was hearing what he was saying, and then occasionally, someone would pop up some imagery. So I think maybe that was good, because I was kind of just imagining it. And when you're listening, I love the media to be able to see someone, but at times I think there's a benefit to not. But for whatever reason, I walked away from there becoming a big convert. I really was impressed by him, and some people that I know that have been following this kind of stuff for their whole careers felt that that he actually performed better in the debate than anyone since Reagan.
Yeah, and I heard similar things, and honestly, Tom, I felt the same way. It was, after watching President Trump in 2016 and again in 2020, I thought that, and maybe it was the entertainment factor and the jokes and some of the TV skills that he had. We got used to the comedic element, I guess I'll say, to be kind, behind, debating and how to really kind of just, knock down your opponents. But to see it, it's a true masterclass. I helped volunteer. I didn't do debate in high school. I wish I would have. But I had friends that, I think forensics is the technical term, that participated in debate. And then to just see somebody that, again, I expected to, because one of the critiques they've used for JD was that he makes these off-the-cuff comments, and he's, underprepared, and, just kind of flies off the handle. And he was just steady Eddie throughout the entire thing. And I know you said you listened to it, which you're able to really absorb things that way. I wish you could, and I'm sure you have seen clips now, but, Walt just looked, he looked flabbergasted and, befuddled a lot. He had a lot of strange mannerisms. Not as bad as Biden in the first debate, but, JD absolutely crushed it. And I think he's somebody that, he's only 40 years old, but I think has really, a bright future ahead of him, and is not somebody that, until I watched that in its entirety and read his book, really, he's just not somebody that was really on my radar, but he definitely is now, and I'm confident that we will win this election. Whether JD ascends to a gubernatorial position or something to that effect, I think, wherever he decides to go, I think we'll be in capable hands, and I look forward to that. So, I was going to say, aside from that, guys, the Tina Peters situation, I'd completely forgotten about that. Sentenced the clerk from Colorado, sentenced to 9 years in prison yesterday. What can you tell me? Because, of course, it's difficult to actually, analyze information in here. I remember seeing that she was charged a while ago, but what did they actually allege that she did?
Oh, wow, that's a great question. Maurice, if you don't have it up
she
there.
She was sentenced for literally questioning the validity of the machines and backing them up before they had a chance to wipe them.
So doing her job. Probably what she should be doing. I had several people reach out to me and say Tina Peters was sentenced to prison for doing her job. And she's a Gold Star mom as well, which I had no idea about until recently. And it's, that's just horrible. These are state level charges, is that correct?
Can you look it up?
Let me look that up.
Maurice is going to look it up. I can tell you this much. What she did, right? Which was she backed up the hard drives of them, and Maurice will get me because he's the tech expert. But she backed up the voting, records before Dominion and the Secretary of State's office came in to do what they call the trusted build. They do this after the election to come in and tell everybody to update the software. They're going in and they're cleaning out their evidence of cheating is what they did. She knew this was going to happen. She made a forensic copy of all of it and kept it. And that's really what they went after her for.
Didn't release this stuff to the Chinese or the Iranians, didn't, try to make a profit off it. It sounds like she was just trying to ensure transparency and honesty and clarity in our election process. And just 9 years, that's absurd. So what did
It is absurd, and the judge was just I listened to him as he was handing down the sentence. It was worse than probably any of the J6 judges I've seen. Just his
arrogant.
Arrogance is a great word. Yes, thank you. But just he called her a liar in 6 Ways to Sunday, and said that she was seeking fame and fortune, or fame anyway, and she's going to get it. No, she wasn't. She was trying to do what she should do. She stood up where a lot of people normally would have run away. And so, yeah, she's an amazing patriot. So I'm glad you brought it up. It's not the first we talked about her tonight. So
yeah. I'm confident. It's very easy to get caught up in being a part of this J6 community. I think that we're the only ones going through something, but it's there are patriots around not just the country but around the world, and I would encourage you guys, as I'm sure you've either already talked about or planning on, be sure to send her some letters, send her some support, and if you guys, I would love to know. I guess I don't know if we'd be able to write her from in here, but if you get a chance, you guys send her a letter. Please let her know that the J6 pod here at the DC jail is praying for her, and we're trying to follow her situation.
You have 1 minute remaining.
That would be, please, if you guys do that, that would be, there's a couple of guys in here that wanted me to ask about that, and I know we would appreciate that, but guys, we're already at that 1 minute cutoff, and hopefully our talents are working better next week. We'll be sure to call back, and I just want to thank you guys again for standing with us and standing for truth and the American way. And I sure appreciate you guys, Cheryl, Maurice, Tom, John, everybody there at the Sentinel, and this whole country. We're going to get through this. And I wanted to talk about the Rescue the Republic rally, but maybe we'll touch on that next week. But I love you guys. I appreciate you. My name's Dominic Fox, number 387287. Still here in cell number 1 at the DC jail. GetSetGo.com. But free Dom J6, free David Dempsey, free Coagulant, free all the J6ers, jail Jack Smith, and God bless America.
Save the
God
cats
bless
and dogs.
America.
Tampering with equipment.
Thank you for using Global
Save the cats
cats and dogs.
I love your shirt. I know, I love it.
I wore this just so Dominic and say the cats and
It was, she was convicted for tampering with the election equipment. And it's amazing, I was just doing a search and I couldn't get past the fake news propaganda machine
all over.
cranked out saying, oh,
It's
the
a
judge is
lie, it's
receiving threats. Oh my God, the judge is receiving threats. Holy crap. I couldn't even get to what she was convicted of
Right,
without
just the
having to
propaganda
float
machine.
through all of that. Jesus.
Yeah.
It's craziness.
When did you find out?
All right, I think that's gonna wrap it up,
We're
folks.
still live back there.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Appreciate everybody showing up here tonight. Val, thank you so much. And we'll be on this same channel next week.
For our 2-year anniversary.
Our 2-year anniversary. For those of you that need the information, the links are in the chat. Thanks all.
All right, thanks everybody. God bless you.